So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today we're gonna take a quick look at our newest secondary weapon that was just released with the latest update, Sevagoth's signature secondary, the Epitaph. So first things first, if you want to get your hands on this weapon, you're gonna have to do void storms in either the Earth, Venus or Saturn Proximas, because all the parts for the Epitaph have about a 10% chance to be rewarded at the end, and you're gonna have to get one blueprint, one barrel and one receiver. The Epitaph is a Mastery Rank 8 secondary, and it essentially has two fire modes. It works on a charge-based system, and the uncharged and charged shots are completely different. Now the stats for the uncharged shots are unfortunately incomplete, so it only shows damage, but it does 100 damage with a projectile and then 20 blast damage in a radius of 8 meters, and it has a really high status with very low crit, and the damage distribution is 40 impact, 30 puncture and 30 slash. But when you fully charge it, the damage goes up to 300, out of which 135 is slash, 120 is impact and 45 is puncture. The crit jumps up to 48% with a 2.6 times crit multi, but the status drops down to 4%. Now both the uncharged and charged shots have travel time, though the uncharged shot will also arc downwards and it will knock you back with the explosion. It also seems to travel much slower than a fully charged shot. And there is still more. So a fully charged shot will have 2 meters of punch through, the weapon does more headshot damage if it's wielded by Sevagoth, and it also comes with some forced procs. So the projectile itself will always proc impact when it hits something, and the explosion will always proc cold. Now, even though it doesn't really make sense when you look at the stats, I ended up going with a hybrid setup that requires 3 Forma, which is 2 Vs and a dash. This makes the uncharged shots proc a ton of status, and the fully charged shot still has a lot of damage. So we have Hornet Strike for damage, Barrel Diffusion for multi-shot, Lethal Torrent for fire item multi-shot, Prime Pistol Gambit for crit chance, Prime Target Cracker for crit damage, then Prime Heated Charge for a ton of heat damage. This is great for the primary and secondary fire, and we top it off with Pistol Pestilence and Jolt for corrosive and status for the uncharged shots. I like this setup because, as I've said already, it procs a ton of status and does a decent amount of damage with the uncharged shot explosions, and it still has a ton of upfront damage for the fully charged shots. I was originally gonna build it for pure crit, but then I just tried to do stat mods and the number of status procs on the uncharged shot just went through the roof, and I think that's definitely worth it. This is not the only way to build the weapon though, because even with Lethal Torrent, the fire rate is just low enough to get the double bonus from Hemorrhage, and since the weapon has forced impact procs, you could build it more towards Slash with Hemorrhage and then run Viral on top of that. It's the build I would recommend if you want to get the spiciest single target damage, and the reason I didn't do it is because I generally prefer upfront damage rather than relying on slash procs. So what do I actually think about this weapon? Well, I quite like it. It's essentially like a mixture of the Sonicore and the Opticore, and if that doesn't want to make you get it, I honestly don't know what will. The only thing that's a bit meh about the weapon is the fall off on the explosion. It does have a range of 8 meters, but the fall off is 80%, so it does barely anything on the edge of the explosion. So the weapon is pretty good, and I haven't even talked about the ammo system. It uses a battery system and it has a large magazine with a fast recharge, so the weapon might as well not use ammo at all. I haven't managed to run out of ammo once throughout the entire time of me putting Forma on the weapon, then testing it, running different builds and trying it out in the simulacrum. It just never happened. So I would absolutely 100% recommend you give this weapon a shot. It is fantastic. The only downside is that the explosion on the uncharged shots doesn't do that much damage, but it does enough to clear the smaller enemies, which is all that matters, because for the bigger enemies you can just charge your shot all the way. And that is pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching as always guys. I hope you've enjoyed it and it was helpful, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.